Okay. So always better to use dense rank because even your data is duplicate or not duplicate, in both the cases it will be working. But the rank you can use when your data is unique, right? Data is not duplicated on a specific column you want to do. Okay. Okay. So let me show you the MySQL integration, how to read and write the data, right, from the MySQL DB, right? You can integrate, right? Most of the times when we are creating a ETL pipeline, right? We are creating a ETL pipeline in Spark. So we are ingesting data from the different sources. Sometimes we are reading data or writing data from the file system. Sometimes we are reading data and writing data to the SQL DB. So it could be any combination, right? It could be any combination where you are reading data or writing data to the different source and targets. Okay. So whenever we are doing the ingestion, right, or reading data, so we can define the data source. So let's do start integration with the first one is MySQL. So how to read and write the data from MySQL. Okay. So it is Spark with MySQL integration. Another integration we will see Spark with Hive integration because sometimes we are writing the data into Hive. So Hive is there the two scenarios, non-partition table, non-partition, non-partition and partition. So non-partition and partition table, we can write the data. We have another scenario, we can read and write the data from NoSQL database. So we have MongoDB, okay, Cassandra. These are all NoSQL database. Or we have Elasticsearch. This is also a NoSQL database. Okay, but these are the different types of NoSQL database. Like this is a column oriented database. This is the document oriented database. Elasticsearch is a JSON document oriented database. So these are the different categories of the databases. Okay. Then other further integrations we have Spark with, like I can integrate with the Snowflake. I want to read and data, write the data. Snowflake is a cloud SQL data warehouse tool. Okay, so cloud SQL data warehouse tool, NoSQL, this Snowflake. So I can read and write the data from the Spark cloud SQL data warehouse tool. Okay, so first we start because if you understand one, then it's almost command is a read and write command, only two command. So we are, see, transformation part is the intermediate part. So first part is the ingestion data, and then we have transformation, and then further we have finally loading data to target, loading data to target. Okay, so our ingestion data from the source, right? Ingestion from source. So our source and target will change, but the transformation always you are doing on the data frame only. So whenever you are ingesting data, you will be getting a data frame only. You will be always getting the data frame. Suppose I'm reading a data from the different file system data, like I'm reading a data from CSV, JSON, XML, Parquet, Avro, ORC. Okay, these are the different types of file system data. So you can change the source, and same I can say it could become my target also. This is source, and same thing can be target also. Same thing can be target. Okay, so depending on the source and target, our ingestion and target loading data will change. Process will, the method will change. So whenever I'm reading the data from the CSV, I write the one spark.read.csv. When I'm reading the data from the JSON, I will do spark.read.json. Okay, so my this ingestion, right, method is changed, right? Because different method is using for different types of file system data. Okay, so when I'm reading CSV, the CSV will there, .json will be there, .xml will be there, Parquet will be reading data, Avro will be there, ORC I will be reading data. So your source and target accordingly change. But the intermediate is a transformation. So whatever transformation logic you write, that logic will not change. So generally, sometimes you are working in the ingestion framework. What is ingestion framework? Ingestion framework is a general framework. It is depending on your source and target, you will be reading, writing data, right? So you will be writing a separate module, right? You will be writing one module for source is a CSV, but target is a SQL DB. Your source is a Parquet file, but target is your NoSQL database Mongo. Okay, so like this, you keep changing. But how you can identify which source and which target? So you will define one property file. One property file you will define, and that property file you will have the configuration. What configuration will be there? So suppose I will say my configuration is like this: spark dot source dot file. I say my file is a CSV. Then I say spark dot target dot, it's a SQL DB. So I say SQL dot DB and I say MySQL. Okay. So if I say SQL dot DB is target, so definitely I need more properties, right? Because I need a username, I need a password, I need a database name, I need a URL. I have to prepare everything, right? But if I'm saying my target is, like if I say my target is a spark dot target dot file, and I say I want to write a Parquet file. So here I don't need any other information because I can write Parquet file. I need a location. I can write a Parquet. Okay. Someone is asking. Okay, so here is depending on the source and type, like you define a property file, and you will read this property file in your main program where you will be writing a code, right? You will be reading in the main program, and there you will call your APIs functions. So you have a separate classes there for reading and writing from the different sources. So whichever property you get, depending on that property, if else condition, you will call your method. So this you understand the logic, right? Because this is a generic framework we are writing, and this is called ingestion framework, right? So you can talk about like which project you worked on. So you can say ingestion framework project I worked on. So ingestion framework has a lot of different sources and different targets, different sources and different targets are there. Okay. So you can take it example of one or two source and one or two targets. So that is good enough to make them understand how you are doing this ingestion process, because there is a property file configuration. So I will show you one code, that is one project I implemented. So you will get an idea how it is done, this ingestion framework. Okay. So if I want to start first the integrations things, right? So I'm going to start the MySQL. So what I need to do, I have to get the data from the MySQL DB. So I need how many ways I can do first. Okay. The one is the Spark shell I can do. Okay. I will start the PySpark shell by using minus minus package. I will give my MySQL connector jar. So you need MySQL connector jar package so that you can start your Spark shell, PySpark shell, and then you can use the MySQL library. It can be identified. Okay. So this is the first way. Second one is you can write one PySpark code in PyCharm, like you can define the main class, and there you will define your Spark session. You will be creating a Spark session, and then you will be creating a data frame. You will get a data frame by using the Spark session. You will create a data frame equal to Spark session dot read dot format is a JDBC. Okay. So I will show you the syntax, and then you will do the username, password, and the load function to read the data from the RDMS database. Okay. So we are talking about the MySQL. So here we need a MySQL connection parameter. We need a MySQL URL, username, password. Okay. So these parameters we know, right? Because we are going to do ingestion. Third one is I have a same program which is I have run in the PyCharm, but I want to run this program on the Spark Submit job. So Spark Submit is on the cluster. Yesterday we were talking about we have to submit a job on the cluster, then we want to monitor the job. So this is the real-time environment we do, right? Spark Submit on cluster for our Spark job. Okay. So we know, right, we have to give the py file name. We have to write spark-submit, and then I will give my test.py file. Okay. But here you have to give minus minus package statement. If you don't give it, then it will say driver not found, the class not found, the MySQL connector driver class not found. So here you have to give minus minus package statement. But here in the program, when you are running in a PyCharm, so there is a Spark session. When you are creating a Spark session, there is a conf parameter is there. So in this conf parameter, you will give the jar property and give the MySQL connector jar path. MySQL connector jar path. So this way you can provide your jar, okay, in the PyCharm. But other two you can use in the PySpark shell. That is, you can use minus minus package, or you can use minus minus package here in the Spark Submit. But here is the one more alternate. The both are having the same alternate. The alternate is you can use minus minus jar also. So minus minus jar, you can give your local directory location, like your local path, where local path of your jar, local path of your jar. Okay. So local path, like you have already scoop, you know. So scoop lib folder you can provide. There is a MySQL connector jar path. You can give the entire file path of your scoop lib folder. So that will work. Okay. Okay, it's clear. So first I'm going to do like start first the PySpark shell one, and we will start the this connection. Okay. Anyone has any question?
Yeah. Arvind, how to specify multiple jars? Let's say the source is MongoDB and the
Yeah,
destination is MySQL.
you mean to say you want to use in the same program, you want to use two jars, right? Like, so comma
Yes.
separated you can give. Okay.
Okay.
And same thing in the package also, you can give comma separated. Suppose you are reading the data from MySQL, but your end target is your Mongo. So definitely you need both, right? Okay. Same thing in the Spark session configuration, you will add the jar, right? So you can do, and the Spark Submit also can do. So whatever you can do with PySpark shell, same thing you can with the Spark Submit. So there is no difference. Okay. But always keep it this package statement. I'll tell you, there is a issue is there. So always keep it your class name at the end. Okay. So package should be, otherwise your package will not be able to recognize. Okay. Because this error comes. Okay. So keep it your package first and then class later. Okay. Okay. So I want to do MySQL one. So let me find the MySQL one. MySQL. This is the MySQL. So, but this is the Spark shell. Let me check the PySpark shell. PySpark. Uh, yeah, this will work. So first we have to start the connector. So this is the package statement, like MySQL connector. This is, you know, artifact and package, right? This is a project, artifact and group ID. Okay. So artifact in the middle in the artifact, and this is a version. Okay. So when we are giving this, same thing you can do for Scala also. Okay. Like whatever code you want to. Okay. So first I will be starting my PySpark shell. So jar options, you can give the jar, okay, minus minus jars, and you can give the path of the jar. So local directory path, it will, okay. So now I'm able to start my PySpark shell by using this MySQL connector. Okay, so I have done this. So next thing is, once this comes here, so I will be having a session there, right? So I'm reading a data from some file. Okay, so if I check my Spark, so my Spark session is there. Okay. So indentation is very important here. So there should be no space in the beginning. Okay, so if this file is present on the same location, it will be able to read the file. Okay. Or you can create the data frame manually also, right? So it is up to us, right? Okay, what from where we are getting the data, right? Either we can create manually data, or we can get the from the data from the file, or we can get the data from the MySQL other table. Okay. So now if I do df.show, so I'm able to get my data with these three column: ID, name, city. So I want to write the data to the MySQL. Okay. So MySQL, I want to write the data. I want to, suppose I want to add one more column. So that you already know which column is there. You can create a new column and you can add the column. And these are my parameter. I say some DB property I'm going to define. Okay. So these are the parameters I'm going to define. And you don't need to create a table manually. It will create a table for you. Okay. So first of all, this is my dictionary, right? So this is my dictionary. So I'm defining the DB property. What is DB property? All the database property I'm defining. Okay. And these DB property I will use in my when I want to write the data. So before reading data, I'm going to write some table and then read the data from that table. Okay. So I will go that way. Okay. Now I will be using the this JDBC URL. So JDBC URL I have to create because I have to use in the data frame dot write dot JDBC. So I have to give the JDBC URL, that is a URL property. Second one is a table, which table I want to create. Okay. And I'm going to say in this database, I want to create a some table. Okay. So I'm creating a some new table. Okay. I'm going to create a new table, and mode is a append mode. So append mode is like you want to keep appending data. You don't want to overwrite the data. If you want to overwrite the data, you will use the override. And this DB properties are the properties which you have set for username password. So you are able to see here, we are able to connect. We have to connect first to the database by using JDBC URL. So I have to set the property of JDBC URL. So in this database, Scoop database, I have a username password is this database server, and Scoop is a database. Okay. Now I have to specify in which table you want to write the data. So I'm going to write the data into my table 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let me check what are the error. Okay, so this character encoding means like some issue is the some character. So UTF-8 character encoding. So let's see what the error came. See, this is the same error, character encoding. So what we need to do, we have to set like this character encoding. So you will also get the same error. Okay, that is the reason I am telling you the step by step. So JDBC URL, you have to run it again with encoding UTF-8 character. So you are going to run this JDBC URL again. Okay. Next is data frame dot write. So data frame dot write, I'm going to write into the database table. So this time, any error is there? No, right? So my data has been written. Even I can read the data by using the df dot like I can read as a format JDBC, I can read. Okay, first I'm going to show you in the MySQL table. Okay, so here in the MySQL database, when I do the show table, I'm already in the Scoop database. Can you see here my table 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is created? Now if I do select start from my table 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Can you see this is the same data what we have read? This is the same data. This is the same data, right? 1 XYG test, 2 PQR test. So this table is created. If you see this table schema, my table 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, this table is created by this column names and type. Okay. So data is in because there is no primary key restriction is there. If I make it this ID as a primary key, I cannot append the same data. It will fail. Okay. So when Spark is going to write the data, it will become fail. Only it can do the override mode. Okay. If my primary key is there, but my table doesn't have the primary key because I'm allowing the table to create from the MySQL. If I create my own table, then I can define the primary key. Because when you are appending, when you are using append mode, so it will be not primary key. It will not create a primary key because it knows, right? The append mode is always keep appending data. If I want to overwrite my all existing data, just I change here overwrite. If I do overwrite, now only 2 rows will be there because my existing data is overwritten. Okay, so this is clear, right? How to write the data. Now we will see that how to read the data from MySQL. Okay, because same table, we will read the data as a data frame. Okay. So what I need to do, I have to read the data. So data frame dot this one, data frame dot data frame dot read dot JDBC. This one, data frame dot read dot, because the statement will be the same only. So data read dot JDBC. So if I want to read dot JDBC, so if you want to do, so can you see what is the property change is there? Spark dot read dot JDBC, URL is same, table is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and property is, so there is no append required. There is no append override because you are reading the data from database, mysql database. Okay, so copy this and now run, because this is a different data frame. Even if you read in the same data frame, your data frame will be overridden. Okay, now I'm writing in the df2, and now I do df2 dot show. So which data should come? Whatever data is there in your database, it is coming. Are you able to read the data? Right? If you add, again you want to write the data, so what change you have to do? df2, just you have to make it df2. But I'm doing override means, so it is exactly the same data. If you add some row, okay, suppose I am creating one more data frame, df3, or I should add manually some row. Union we can use. Or ID 3. So if I read again this data, another data frame. So df3 I write. So if I do df3 dot show, so one is having 2 record, one is 3. So I create one df4 and I say df1 dot df2 dot union df3, and now df4 dot show. It has make it duplicate. 1, 2, 3. But union is basically remove the duplicate. Okay, so this df4, we have got the record. So what we are going to do, we have to write this data frame. Some new table I can write. So any manipulation you can do. Okay, so you can do any manipulation. Just you have to prepare your data frame, and what you want to write, you can write it. Okay, so ultimately you can write anything which you want to write, you can write it, and it will create a table. Okay, so this way you can do simply read and write operations. So this is we have done through the PyCharm. Okay, so PyCharm we done it. Okay, so if I want to do the PySpark job, so I should have the program. So I should have the program code that I can execute. So if I say this is my program, so this program I can create a one file. This file I can create a one py file, and this py file I can run. Okay, so I can cd some directory I'm creating, cd PySpark test. So here I will create some file test.py. I will paste all these statement. So if I see this statement, so first I'm reading the file. This is the same thing what I'm going to do with this. Just I'm doing with the Spark submit. Okay. So some table I'm creating and reading the data. Okay. So when I Control X, Shift Y, enter. Okay. So I will do Spark hyphen submit and minus minus package statement. And my file name is test.py. So in this case, I'm just displaying the data. If I want to write some data into the file, so I can write data frame dot write dot parquet. I can write the data to the some. See, only data is coming here, like just it's coming as a display. So you can do that. Okay, I was saying like if you just give this file name before your package, what will happen? If you give here test.py, okay. So always remember, right? You should use your main class should be always at the end. Okay. So you should, because I got this issue. Driver class, something it will say not found. So it will not be able to recognize your package statement. The issue is it will not be. See, you got the error. So error is related to your driver, because it is saying com.mysql is. So it is not a error, right? Just it's a placement. It's just a placement problem, right? Because your placement is not the right place, right? Your like package should come first, and then because I took time some right key what is the exact issue, I was not able to figure out. But later on, when I just checked 2 3 times, then I came to know, okay, this is the main problem. So your job will run fine, okay, and whenever you are creating, so one application ID will be created. Okay, let's see in the resource manager. Okay. Okay, so here, take me time. What happened? Okay, I reopen it. Wait. Why it is not cool? So here, it is not running in the yarn mode. Okay. So actually, Spark has the provision, right? You can run the job. You are reading the data from the local file system, right? So in this scenario, you have to do in the yarn mode. But here, whatever program I written, right? But that program, this program has the data is from the local file system, right? So I have to read the data from the Hadoop file system. Okay. So this particular file, I have to write it to the Hadoop file system. So test directory, test, test. So this test has test.csv. So I write it in the Hadoop file system. Okay, so some directory I created. I will load the file. Okay. So this, okay, this is the data. Now I have to change my program. I have to change my program and change the location of the file. So, so first of all, here I'm not giving the master local, right? So here I will change the location. PySpark test.csv. So this is the directory PySpark test and test.csv. So this is the, okay. So this is reading file and writing data to the MySQL table. So when I run this now, I have to use master yarn deployment mode, cluster mode. And keep it this test.py. What is my path of flash home? Okay, I'm using different. It is not able to connect to the resource manager. My Hadoop is running. Okay. Resource manager is 8032. It's taking default port. If it is not able to read the data from Hadoop, it will give the error. File colon. Okay, it is trying to read to the. So here is a issue coming, the connection, the Hadoop connection. Okay, we have to set it something. So beyond site.xml. Okay, so these three property, let's do. So this problem is when you are going to connect yarn, right? Your so local host is there, but the resource manager address, resource manager tracker. Okay, but we have to restart the Hadoop. So stop hyphen all dot sh. Okay, the other one is you simply for the PyCharm one, simply you create this is a PyCharm code. So you create this file in the PyCharm, and it will read the it will have the spark.jar.packages. So if you have multiple packages, comma delimited you can give. But if you are testing only for MySQL connector, so you can run this code in the PyCharm. Okay. So just create this file in the PyCharm, just create a new file and just right click and run the program. Then you will get the data. Okay. So PyCharm is very simple one. You can test that one. Okay. So three ways we see Spark Submit, and second one is we have the PySpark shell and we have the PyCharm. Okay. So this one I'm showing to you, right? How to connect for the Hadoop mode, right? Because we want to see the application ID, right? Oh, this is all issues are coming. This is because of we change. Why it is coming? Could not resolve issues. Control G. I think this is some other problem. Okay, so let's run that job. Actually, the whatever I said, the export yarn one, don't set that one because that one is giving problem. Okay, so don't set that one. Now what is the directory? It's non-config properties. Okay, fine. This time is working fine. Okay. So we got the URL. Everybody got it? Everybody got it? What the
Yes, sir.
change, right? So we have to change. Actually, might be, I'm thinking like if we don't do the yarn site.xml file change, if I give the complete path, actually I give the home path. I didn't give the yarn site.xml file path. That could be a reason. Okay. But I need to find out. I need to remove the entry and then do it again. Okay. So now job is running. Okay. So this time what I did, I give the yarn site.xml file path complete for whatever yarn configuration they ask or Hadoop configuration. So last time I did only this path, right? Okay. So it was not able to recognize the yarn site.xml file, right? So that's the reason it asked for the entry. Okay. So I believe entry we don't need to do that entry I did. Okay. I think this path, if you try this one, run any Spark job, just try. It will ask you yarn configuration part to set this whole path where yarn site.xml file is there. Okay. Then you will get your job will be running on the yarn. But before that, you have to data should be on the Hadoop, right? Because whenever you are running job on the yarn, right? So your data should be right in the Hadoop. It will not be able to read the data from the local. Okay. So that change you have to do. Okay. So let me go to here. You can see. I think this entry is not required, but you can check, right? Okay. But that home path is needed to set, like that yarn configuration home that we have to set. Okay, so now the job will come here because it has created application ID. So once the application ID is created, it will come. Okay, so it is getting slow. If I refresh, so something is created 0010. Okay, so here is already 0009. So new one is created. Okay, it will come here and then you can track the job. So it will be showing here finish succeed. And when you are looking at the log, this is okay. Check this one. Okay, we'll connect on tomorrow, Monday. Okay, and whoever has not done assignment, so complete that assignment. I will give today for Spark. Okay, so you start completing the Spark one. Okay, so I will give it today. Okay, anyone has any question? I will upload it, this recording and this code, everything. Okay. And you can see the other classroom like this one. I'll give you the link again. You have already this link where this you can, I'm pinging in the chat. So same code is already there and video is also there. You can check it meanwhile till I upload your one. Okay. So you follow this. Okay. Okay. Thanks everyone.